I am once again at one of the lowest points in my life, and that means I get to make a YouTube video. And while there is probably something to be said about me running to the certainty of online validation when I have lost control of most things in my real life. Anyways, I was looking through my old notes and I found this little thing I wrote about my favorite movie, and like 4 or 5 years ago. And my favorite movie of all time is Fight Club, Kubo and the Two Strings, and then The Little Prince, probably. I think that's the... Anyways, the reason Fight Club is my favorite film of all time is probably not because how perfectly it's produced and the acting and the concept and its critique of consumerism and capitalism and everything. Like, yeah, that's all very well made and very well produced and directed. Especially, I think it has one of the best directions of all time. But the reason it's personally my favorite film is because the first and last, this isn't going to be an analysis on the film because I refuse to watch it again, so the details might be a bit hazy. The reason I refuse to watch it again is because the first time I watched it, it was so powerful that I can't override that initial high. It's locked. It's always gonna be locked. Anyways, when I first watched the film, I remember struggling a lot while reading Jung. So I was reading Jung, and like, of course, I'm pretty young at that point. I'm like, what, 16 maybe, and I don't really understand a lot of what's going on. Okay. The singular concept that I was struggling a lot with was the concept of the shadow. If you try to learn Jung through like professors online, it's just videos of presentations and paragraphs that it just doesn't make a lot of intuitive sense. It is something that has to click to you in order for you to just get it, and I wasn't getting it. Though the shadow is basically a part of your psyche, a part of yourself that you have repressed, that you have refused to acknowledge because it harbors all of the potential for evil that you hold. So it's this concept of everything horrible that has ever happened to humans was done by human beings, and you're one of them. You have the potential to be very, very evil. If you were born at the right time, at the right place, you would be an IDF soldier killing a Palestinian child. That would be you, because that is how humans are. We hold a potential for evil. And now it's all well and good to like read this and conceptually understand this, but your initial encounter with your shadow, which is like the first step to enlightenment, your first encounter with the shadow is so powerful that it makes you deeply, deeply anxious and scared. And that is what happened when I watched Fight Club. I remember as soon as I finished the movie, I sat on my bed and stared at my cupboard for like 20 minutes, and then I stood up and then I paced around my room. Not this room. That room was like, it was a shoebox room. It was like 6 feet wide, barely. And I walked around it like in circles, wringing my hands, talking to myself for an hour straight. That's how anxious and scared I was when it clicked for the first time. And it was such a powerful experience. It was such a spiritual experience, because what happens in Fight Club is it's this alternate side of your main character that is the manifestation of all of the evil and chaos that resides within him. It's a power that even he didn't know he had. And that's something that is such a powerful element when you're talking about the shadow, because it is supposed to be subconscious. And during the movie, he's not conscious of Tyler Durden. So being unconscious of the evil you possess, and then eventually coming face to face with it and not just killing it, but integrating it, is such a journey. It's such a journey. And the movie, I think, captures that absolutely perfectly. That there are these parts of yourself that are so unknown to you, that you discover. It's not like you create them, you discover them. They already exist within you. And it's a very beautiful concept. Actually, this is my Spider-Man journal. This has some of the darkest thoughts ever. Right here, I have sorry, I got lost. Found the actual journal. Yeah, so here I have this little diagram that helped me explain like the way Jung imagines the human psyche to myself. And there's this chart. I don't know if you can see. I might just put up a picture here. What am I doing? But yeah, so it is the outer world, which is the outer world, and then there is a persona. A persona is a mask. It is an identity that you wear to present to the outer world. And it's not the real you, it's parts of you. It's like caricatures of you, right? It's very curated, and it's very curated. For example, I would not be the same way around my parents as I am with my friends. I put on a persona for each of these individuals, and that's not a bad thing. It's actually a sign of high intelligence if you can switch your persona or tweak it depending on the situation. That's being aware of how things work in the world. That's very good. But the thing that holds up the persona is the ego. And behind the ego, which is what differentiates the rest of the world from me, like the self-awareness that I have कि ये मैं हूँ, यहाँ पर ज़हनब ख़त्म हो जाती है और यहाँ पर दुनिया शुरू हो जाती है. That's the ego. And then उस ego के पार आपकी center के अंदर self आती है, which is your true unobserved self. And the self has two parts. एक तो आपका है conscious part और एक है आपका unconscious part. And आपका जो unconscious part है, उसके अंदर reside करता है आपका shadow, which is what I understand, at least. And this is something very interesting about the persona that I realized, which is that you need to have a version of yourself that exists when other people are not around. That is your most true, authentic self. Because if you over-identify with a persona is, let's say, being a daughter, is, let's say, being a student, being an employee, right? These are all personas. When you over-identify with a persona, in essence, what you're doing is you are conforming your entire identity based around what other people want you to be. So the way that you mold your personas is कि लोगों की आपसे कुछ certain expectations होती हैं और उन expectations पर पूरा उतरने के लिए आप अपने आप को तोड़ मरोड़ के mold करते हो in a way that is acceptable to other people. But this isn't a true version of yourself. It's something that's very calculated. This persona, ये जो आपका एक outer mask है, ये represent करता है collective psyche को. So there is this thing called the collective conscious and the collective unconscious, which is basically the consciousness of the entirety of humanity. एक होती है हमारी individual consciousness और एक होती है like एक collective human species की consciousness. And जिस consciousness की base पर हम लोग आपस में interact करते हैं कि there are certain unsaid rules and unsaid principles between two human beings interacting with each other. And the barrier, or I guess the lubricant that allows this interaction to take place is the persona. This persona represents a very small segment of the collective psyche, and over identifying with itself, with the persona, can lead to losing touch with your real, authentic self. And that is very conformist. मतलब आपकी पूरी identity is just built on what other people want you to be. And that is a miserable way to live. So that is something that I tried to be more conscious of. And I still don't know how to get in touch with truly my authentic self, but I guess I'm figuring it out as I go. I have such a cute setup for my phone because you guys are currently on a tiny little cat. It's a lamb, and Iqbal's the reductionist, the reconstruction of religious thought in Islam